is in. The Blitz with Jason Minnix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minnix. And as we do every Thursday at this time, we talk with the head football coach of the UIW Cardinals, Eric Morris, joining us now after a big 40-9 win over Prairie View A&M in your home opener this past weekend. After losing a tough one in overtime in week one, looked like you guys were having a lot of fun on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it was good to bounce back that way. I think on all three sides of the ball, we contributed at a high level. The one interesting takeaway, which was crazy, I've never been in a game like this, but our average starting field position was the plus 41 offensively. So I've never seen it that good. That was incredible due to a lot of turnovers our defense created and then great field position off punt return. So anytime when you're in the plus territory like that and you get this offense, those short fields, and that's usually not a good recipe for winning a game.
Well, and your defense certainly stepped up. I've been hard on your defense. I've been critical of your defense. It was nice to see them have a game like that. Was it just everything was clicking for them, or have you changed up a little bit of what you guys do?
Yeah, we went more three down, played a little bit more pass coverage. Just schematically, they were more of a spread team and wanted to air it out a little bit. They have a quarterback that's a good player transfer from Louisville, big 6'6", 230-pound kid. So knew that they were really going to try to hang their hat on his arm in this game. And so we kind of disguised a lot of coverages during it and it really had him off balance. We were showing a lot of man coverage and dropping some people that we hadn't shown on tape and then getting to some zones, some cool ways. And so paid off good. Our kids did a great job last week, I thought, preparing, and so did coaches, and then paid off in a big way, getting 5 turnovers.
Well, and Cam Ward continues the pace he started on last spring and, throwing the ball all over the place. I think what's impressive, as much as he throws it, no interceptions in 2 games.
Yeah, and too, our stats were just funny this game. And we did have those short fields, so I thought we were really efficient at getting the ball in the end zone, and then and sputtered on 1 or 2 drives there. I thought that just bad execution, and usually it was because of a penalty, us going backwards and putting us, back where we couldn't overcome something. But Cam's done a great job. I would say it wasn't his best game overall. His lowest percentage as far as completing our drop back as he's had since he's been here. And so he's come back all week this week motivated. He wants to get out there. He's been in here all week just saying that he needs to throw the ball, throw this, throw that, throw this, just to kind of revive himself from what he considers to be a bad performance. All
right. Well, and if that's his bad performance, man, I'll take those all day long. I'm curious, though, is you get a quarterback in there wanting to throw it here, wanting to throw it there. We had a lot of conversation this week on the NFL level with, Dak Prescott throwing it 58 times last Thursday night against Tampa Bay. And then, Kellen Moore says, well, I call 28 run plays in the game, and Dak checked out at 12 of them. And he said he's fine with that because of what the defense was showing. As a coach, when you call a play, how much trust is there with a quarterback if he's checking out of plays, or when does that patience run out if it's not working?
Yeah, it's interesting, and there are certain times, and we have signals. We're such a big RPO team, so he pretty much has an option to throw it every single run. I do, and so we get in the same predicament. We might look at the stats the next morning. We ran it 21 times when in all actuality, I called 36 run plays, and he's just doing the read that we teach him. So we've developed signals now as coaches as we get into it more that it's a mandatory handoff, that we're seeing something we like. We think we can block him up, or we think Kevin Brown can make the safety miss. We want to get it on the safety. And so yeah, we deal with the same thing. I think that's a new age of football, of all this RPO craze, and also letting your quarterback kind of take the reins out there, check what he sees, and that's why they pay those guys millions of dollars, right? Is to make those decisions, and if they're bad decisions, you shouldn't pay them that much money.
All right, so as we visit with Eric Morris here as an analytics guy, and the conversation we had last week about analytics was fascinating. At some point after the season, we might do 2 hours on that. I was just eating that up, and a couple of people have asked me if I got the book yet, which, I haven't, but I'm curious about it. But Mike McCarthy said something yesterday that, while they only had whatever run plays, they really counted so many more because of the RPO. They look at run plays in his mind in the new analytics world is the blocking scheme. It's not like he had his offensive line on their heels 58 times because they were still run blocking. So if they're run blocking, they count that as a run. Is he just trying to CYA, or is that something the way you coaches actually look at it? Because I kind of heard that and went, see, just trying to make them feel better, make us feel better. Because, I look at rushes as rush attempts and yards and passes, completions and attempts, right?
No, I think, you really don't want to give the defensive line an advantage where they can just pin their ears back and come after you and rush like that all the time. So as a coach, in our scheme, I always have somebody chart, how many times we ran screens. And then we also have cut plays that we know it's quick game and we're going to set one time. We're going to try to cut the whole defensive line at one time just to slow them down. But I think there's some truth to that as far as, not letting the defensive line just come off and tag off you and keeping some of the thing. But then, again, I think at any time, I think the triple option teams of the world, the Armies, the Navies, the people that really commit to it would say, that's a bunch of BS. And if you're going to run the ball, you need to run the ball, try to crack safeties and dig everybody out. So there's definitely a lot of ways to skin a cat in this game. I think there's a bunch of innovative minds that are kind of trying to figure out new ways. But, again, this week, we ended up with, in all reality, like we went for it 4 times on 4th down. 3 of them we scored touchdowns, and all 3 of them, I would think, in old school football, they would have kicked it. One was on the 5-yard line, one was on the 16, and one was on the 18. And the analytics say go for it with as fast as we score. We went for it on all of them that they told us to do it, and 3 of the 4 were touchdowns. So it paid off for us in this game. And I'm going to be for sure to tell you, too, because one of the 4th downs we didn't get, and it was a bad call. But, if it comes to a point week by week, if it's somewhere where it hurts me in a game and say, hey, it was just totally wrong, we shouldn't have played it that way, then I'll be for sure to tell you that, too.
Eric Morris, head football coach of the UIW Cardinals. They've got a short road trip coming up Saturday night, going to San Marcos to take on the Bobcats and Jake Spavital. They're coming off an impressive overtime win. I caught towards the end of that game, and I think it kind of feels like Coach Spav is finally turning that ship in the right direction. What are you seeing from the Bobcats this year on film?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm looking at them on the defensive side of the ball. They're playing extremely hard. They've done some different things schematically the last 2 games as far as really committing to stop the run and playing some man coverage on the edge. And I think that he trusts people more, his brother, Zach Spavital, to do that. They have a bunch of transfers this year that they've gotten. And so they've done a great job. They're aggressive when they get to the ball. They've caused 5 fumbles. They're popping it out, attacking style. And then offensively, I think I see it most up front, offensive line-wise. They added some beef up front. They got a right tackle from Canada that I think transferred from Maine. That's a great player on tape. Added a really quality offensive line coach into the equation that's coming from the NFL ranks. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that you can really see, in year 3 that, kind of his visions are kind of coming together. And then, too, anytime you can, when you're so close as a coach and you get into one of those nail biters, it's in overtime, you finally win one that you've lost the last couple of years. I think that finally, starts teaching your team how to win. And so those things are all very important, I think, in building a program.
Yeah, they hung in there with Baylor. They got a win last week on the road against FIU down in Miami. I don't know. I guess maybe the surprising thing for me is, I think Jake Spavital, kind of like I think Eric Morrison, throwing that all over the field. They run the ball a lot more than what I'm expecting. Is that just because of their line and the running back they have? They're playing to their strengths?
Yeah, I think so. And too, I think, Jake, just like anybody else, does a great job at studying in the off season and finding kind of what they're good at. And anytime you can establish a run, but him, coming from Dana Holgerson, I think he's pretty far removed from Mike Leach's tree of things and thinking that he just needs to throw it all over the place. So I think doing that, and then I think it's protected the defense. It's kept them off the field. They're not getting in these huge scoring battles. One of the tapes from the end of last year's them versus Arkansas State, it's 49-47. It's just bam, 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 scoring from everywhere. And I think they've committed to playing a different style of ball holistically as a program. And I think it looks really good on tape. I mean, I like what they're doing, and it'll be tough for us to go down there and to pull a win out of that place.
As close as you guys are, and do you have to do a lot of things different this week just to make sure that they don't know your tendencies, because you guys have kind of come through the ranks together?
You know, I think we're far enough removed, you know, from one another, and have kind of had enough time on our own to kind of put our spin on things. And, you know, both him and his brother, I think, which we've changed some things that I know that were, you know, base signals, base terminologies for our guys up front, things that I know he'll know that we've used forever. We've changed some of that stuff so they won't know, you know, our base run plays. You know, we called inside zone the same thing forever. And Zach and I were together at 5 years at Texas Tech. Like, I know he knows that call. So we changed some things that I know are pretty blatant, but I think we're pretty far removed, and you know, I think we've put our own spin on it enough that it's not going to play a huge role in it.
Eric Morris, head football coach at UIW. The Cardinals have Texas State on the road Saturday night against Bobcat Stadium. Now, I had Jake Spavital on the show with us yesterday, Coach. I want to play you a little clip from the interview I did yesterday with Coach Spav, okay?
Perfect.
You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Jake Spavital, head coach at Texas State, with us here on the Blitz. Now, Eric Morris is on with me on Thursdays, Coach. I'm going to ask him this question, so you can't BS me here. What side bet do you guys have on this game?
You know, I was going to actually hit him up Thursday, so I need to get to him early then, so you have some more content on Thursday. But, you know, like it's always the deal. Like when you play your buddies, you know, it's you kind of wait till later in the week when the game plan's in place, and then you just have some fun with it all. Because Thursday night's the night that typically, you know, the game plan's in, the kids are done with the you know, with all of their practices, and, you know, really just have a Friday kind of, you know, perfect Friday practice to gain some confidence going into the game day. So we'll have some fun with it on Thursday.
All right. So typically in a situation like this, what kind of bets do you guys make? Is it dinners? Is it dollars? Is it shots of Fireball? It's got to be something.
Yeah, it's probably shots of Fireball or just some sort of a drink after season. You know, like it, you know, you're in a hole for about 6 months being a college football coach, and then you know, we always meet at the AFCA convention. This year will be in I believe San Antonio, so you know, maybe we'll meet up then, and we'll pay our bets respectfully.
All right. So that was Jake Spavital yesterday, Coach, and you know, maybe shots of Fireball. What's the side bet? Did he get a hold of you today?
We have not talked, and too, I've texted back and forth a couple of times with his brother, and then us just saying, you know, how much we respected each other and kind of how the strides that we've made through the film from last year to this year. But no, we'll shoot back something for sure the next couple of days, and then too, you know, we always have a great time when we go down and visit those guys down in New Braunfels. It's a fun time. They live in New Braunfels, all those guys, so we have a good time out in downtown New Braunfels. But he'll pay up, or I'll pay up, I promise you.
Well, and he's going to pay up. You know, you guys are going to go up there and you're going to win this football game on Saturday. I'm just curious, is it, you know, because it's all in fun, right? But you know, is something that got settled out on a golf course, or, you know, a fancy dinner, a concert somewhere? I know he's a Texas country music guy.
Definitely not a golf course with him. I'm a golf guy, but he's not a big golf guy. We actually played Texas State staff in golf 2 summers ago now, because we had some buddies there, and we straight dominated them. That's I mean, it wasn't even close. And so we even went to their home course. Well, it wouldn't be their home course, but they all live in New Braunfels, and we played on the course. Not the Bandit, the other one that's there on the river. Can't remember the name of it.
Land Park?
Yes. Yep, yeah. Land Park. And I think we won by 11 strokes. I think it was 3 of us versus 3 of their coaches. Played a little scramble and wasn't even fair towards the end. And so golf will not be it. But yeah, definitely. And his wife is a great human being. And so probably go out with the girl somewhere, and whoever loses has to pay for dinner. Nice dinner would probably be something
That's not bad. And all I just heard is UIW by 11 Saturday night at Bobcat Stadium.
Golf for sure. Golf for sure.
And on the football field. Coach, always appreciate the time. Good luck Saturday. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Jason. You have a good one.
Appreciate it. Eric Morris, head football coach of the UIW Cardinals. Again, UIW at Texas State coming up Saturday night. That game's going to be on ESPN3. Certainly going to be a lot of fun to watch. And Texas State's getting better, but honestly, I think UIW goes in there and gets that win. I said that yesterday when Jake was on. That UIW football team is so much fun to watch, and they're good. And last week, their defense showed up. Offense, we know, is going to be there. That defense is going to have to travel up I-35 on Saturday.